From Loon Lake Logging Road to Lacy Lake Logging Road, a railway walk along the western slope of the Beauforts above Port Alberni. Today's hike takes place east of the City of Port Alberni and just west of the Port Alberni Summit. You can see the route in the red line on this map. This is an out and back hike. My starting place is the bottom right end of the red line. My turnaround point is obviously the top left end of the red line. Looking closer, my starting point is the red circle in the bottom right. It's mile 22.2 of the Esquimalt and Nanaimo Railway's Port Alberni Subdivision, and the location is at the Loon Lake Main Logging Road. That's where I parked and started my hike along the railway for 3 miles out and 3 miles back. That works out to be about 10 kilometers return. My total time spent was 6 hours, and that worked out to be about 3 hours of hiking along the railway and 3 hours of fun at various spots along the line. That is my typical pace for walking, which is about half an hour for a mile of walking along the railway. This section of the railway last saw a train in early 2002, but as recent as June 2016, there was a Narcoa speeder tour that went through this area all the way to McLean Mill. But they wouldn't be able to do that now because of the condition of the trestles and other vegetation overgrowth problems on the line. Loon Lake Road. This is a level crossing. It's hard to see, but it is. And this is looking railway west. Start of my hike at mile 22.3 on the E&N Railway's Port Alberni Subdivision. The goals of today's hike are exercise, the solitude and peace of being outside on a crisp autumn day, and also to see this segment of railway that I haven't seen since April 2020. Between mile 22 and 23 are just straight stretches like this. Highway is really close by, as you can hear. It's on my left, and there's logging roads up on my right, up the hill, the Loon Lake logging road for Mosaic. As usual, there's lots of fog here near the Alberni Valley, near the Alberni Summit. Here's an area where rockfall has been moved and cleared up by people that care, recreational users of this corridor from the Alberni Valley. Make a big impact, and it's a lot nicer now. Thank you, good people. This is pretty. Coming up to mile 23. Somewhere along here is the post. And here is that marker on a wooden post. Okay, this next mile from 23 to 24 will have me going into some more arid-like landscape, like pine trees. Last time I was here, it reminded me of the BC interior. So, nice transition. Between mile 23 and I think 23.4 are 3 former trestles. You can see the drop-off here on my left, and there's a drop-off on the other side hidden by the trees. But the 3 trestles were part of the original 1911 construction of this line. 2 of them were filled in by 1919, and 1 in 1920. So 8 and 9 years is all that they lasted, which is typical when they're constructing the line. A lot of the structures are
just planned to be temporary to get the line open. There's a grease box. And we got some fog. Yay! I'm making a good pace, about 25 minutes for a railway mile. See if I can keep that up till I get to the trestle. Here's the area that I likened to BC interior, just with the pine trees up there. In April, that's what it reminded me of. Yesterday when I was planning this trip, I planned it to be an early morning start because I wanted to get to the wooden trestle for sunrise. So I planned a 7 a.m. start, but I realized at home that I really needed a bit more sleep. I don't want to compromise my health by being overtired. And so I slept in a bit and I've started at 10 a.m. instead. As a result, instead of walking this stretch in the dark or during civil twilight, I'm getting some nice sun behind me, giving me a cool shadow. Part of the island corridor broom forest here. Not as bad as it is behind Cameron Lake, but it is right down the middle of the tracks, about knee height. Nice bit of lichen coming up, hanging by. And with the sun behind me, it makes a nice view. Here's some more of the island corridor broom jungle as I head railway west between mile 23 and 24. This is approximately mile 23.9 going westward. This is the spot where the railway curves to the right for a diversion that was built in 1971, which replaced an old trestle that used to, the approach went straight. And this is the 5 Mile Creek diversion. So the trestle was actually built with the original line and then rebuilt in a slightly different location in the 1920s. And then in 1971, this old trestle was removed and a diversion was built. Basically, the line did a tight curve to hug the mountainside. So I'll be walking into a nice tight semicircle curve. It was so tight that there was lots of squealing going on with the wheels of the train, and they had to go very slowly. But in 1971, they decided that that was the better solution than rebuilding the very big wooden trestle. There was another one where the same thing happened at mile 24.4, also in 1971, replaced with a curve diversion, and that was at 4 Mile Creek. I don't think it's really a mile further than 5 Mile Creek, but hey, that's just a name. Here is a Google Maps view of the two diversions. Mile 23.9 is on the right, and mile 24.4 is on the left, in the red circles. In Google Maps satellite view, here's another look, and you can actually make out where the trestle line used to be that cut across the ravines instead of going around in the semicircle. So this is the first one, so we're going to curve to the right and then get into a semicircle, and we've got some good Alberni fog. I had ideas of climbing up on the rock on the right and seeing if I could see evidence of the old crossing. I know the trestle is long gone, but it's not going to happen today with the fog. But for now, I spookily get to walk into the fog, knowing that I am walking in history. I'm just looking east. The first time I was ever here, a year and a half ago, I could see Mount Arrowsmith from this location. No such luck today. Let's walk into the curve. So again, if I went straight, that's where the original line went through. Or maybe not the original line, the second alignment for the second trestle. That's a lesson. The something that was there previous isn't necessarily the original. Sometimes history is older than you think. Anyway, it went through there between the rocks. But now the railway curves to the right. Up ahead is where the railway curves to the left to start the semicircle. I'm also looking for signs of the milepost 24 sign, which I think was removed, knocked down, obscured, so I don't think I'm going to see it. Opens up here. I hear a creek, so coming up to the ravine. This will make a good picture stop. It's always fun, the frustrating kind of fun, to try to figure out where the original or second generation line was. Too much time has passed for this. Here's a view of the trees down in the gully. And although this is a great time of year to see through the trees because there's no leaves, it's tough to see on the ground. Again, looking down the lovely gully. So this is where the mile 23.9 trestle ran, and I'm running around it. Gives you an idea of the drop off and all of the rock set up for this diversion track. Again, this is just the first of two of these. Here's some spare rail. Hasn't been needed since 2002. Hey, the mile 24 sign exists. I didn't notice it last time. I think it's because I wasn't into milepost signs in 2019. My obscure interests keep on changing. Now I'm a collector of photos of these signs. On a foggy day. And I'm still on my pace of about 25 minutes for walking a railway mile. Takes a little bit longer than normal path walking because of the uneven ground, so you have to be careful. It's not worth breaking an ankle or wrecking a knee. Describing what it's like here, it's just a nice sort of autumn damp feeling. It's that nice West Coast autumn smell of the trees, and along with just that dampness from the fog and from the morning dew that still is here. Something beautiful about it. It just feels like being outdoors on the West Coast at this time of year. That's what it totally feels like, because that's what I'm doing. It's just a beautiful thing. Here's another spot where the railway's moving off to the right, but there's looks like to be an old clearing straight ahead where the grade could have continued straight ahead. So this could be the east approach to where the mile 24.4 trestle was, which was again diverted in 1971. We'll find out, see if this is similar to the last one. Curve off a bit to the right and then eventually get into a tight semicircle going to the left. And oh my, look at the fog. Love a foggy day. Alright, we're curving to the left. We'll see if we get the sound of a creek soon, which would be, what, 4 Mile Creek or 5 Mile Creek? I forget the order. Here's the electricity power line crossing the tracks. Comes up from around Lacy Lake Road. And here is where the railway runs parallel to Lacy Lake Road, as that road makes its way up the mountainside. Mile 24.6 was the Stokes Siding, which was on the long straightaway, which could very well be here. And it was removed in 1970. I'm curious if the siding was here between where this road is and the railway. I'm walking the road because it's a whole lot easier. A nice little treat for a while. Walking eastward around mile 24.6. Lacy Lake Road right beside the railway. I'm assuming that fog up here was just something that the conductor and engineer on the E&N freights would be quite used to over the years. Here we are, top of the hill. It takes me an hour and 15 minutes to walk here along the railway track from Loon Lake, but if I wanted 45 minutes on a steep uphill, I could have parked at Coombs Country Candy and walked to this spot. There's the road that goes down to Coombs Country Candy. I'd rather walk the railway, so an hour and 15 minutes of railway walking at 1.5% grade. Hey, I'll take that. Well, I've seen people now. There are a few people camped at the top of Lacy Lake Road where it intersects the railway. And there's a family getting ready to do a downhill section on the mountain bike trail. Yeah, this is a popular area because it's so beautiful, so close to the city of Port Alberni. I love it too. I am arriving at the mile 24.9 trestle. I round that often, just call it 25. And I'll see what the lighting is like. Nice fog. There's the family mountain biking down the slope. I can hear them. This is the difference of what I like doing. I prefer the solitude, which is why I'm here. And man, this fog sure enhances that solitude. I'm heading railway eastward around mile 24.8, the long way home to where I parked, and just under 3 miles, and I'm tired, so it's going to take me half an hour or so per mile, so 90 minutes plus of walking. So I'm just kind of going to motor it straight ahead. Not a lot of stopping for photos. I enjoyed some photos on the way in, but I'm out of energy. I'm tired, but I still gotta walk. But it's a fun, good, tired. Not much to see in the fog for you or for me. I just want to say a big thank you to all the people who are watching this video. I really appreciate the fact that you've taken the time to watch some of this. I sure enjoy going for the railway hikes, and I sure enjoy doing the video editing. It's a lot of fun. So if this has given you a bit of enjoyment of watching, and if for the sake of history this has made a difference in preserving the views of some historical items, then hey, it's worth it. A friendly shout out to Alberni Valley Tourism. Thanks for saying hello to me a few minutes ago on my hike as you were coming down from the lookout. It's great to meet friendly people. And I will continue going eastward. Coming up soon will be the 4 or 5 mile creek diversion, and then I'll have the other one. As I'm a little bit loopy because I'm tired. I just follow the rails. Good thing I'm doing railway walking. Just keep between the rails and keep walking. And occasionally doing my bear call. Hey-oh. No one ever answers back. The milepost signs are good for motivation when I'm on my return leg of a hike. And so milepost 24 here is good. I can check my pace. About half an hour for a mile. And it's a good place to stop and have some coffee from my thermos. Change my batteries. All good. Here's the little spot, likely where maintenance away stopped off and dropped off items like rails. Probably had a stack of ties back in the day. Would expect this would be a place they would have put some boards down so that they could, I don't know, turn or have a maintenance vehicle get off a car. A nice curve. This is one of the areas where the rail line was relocated in 1971. It used to be down this gully, down through there. But 50 years of growth hides the gully, or the extent of it. And of course the timber frame trestle is long gone. Well, the fog has gone, and I've got the afternoon sun coming in from an angle on the side, which is really nice for lighting right now. I can just imagine the trestle. I've seen photographs of it. This is where rock was blasted out to create the diversion route when the mile 23.9 trestle was removed. And there's rock on the other side. So this is really similar to what happened at mile 27.3, where you've got rock on one side, rock on the other side, and on the other side of this rock is the location of that old trestle. If I was ambitious, and I'm not today because I'm tired, I'd climb up the rock on this side and take a look, including exploring this area. But yeah, this has a very similar feel to mile 27.3, and I'll put a photograph up to show you what I mean. Okay, rock on either side of me. Here's where the original grade went through. I explored this a year and a half ago or so. But next time I'll climb up there, take a look. Again, 2 reasons not to do it now. 1, lack of energy. 2, daylight will be running out. Earlier this morning, I mentioned something about Mount Arrowsmith being up there, and I couldn't see it because of the fog this morning, but guess what? Really nice. From mile 23.9. Mount Arrowsmith. And this is a slope I'm going to walk up next time and take a look down to see if it has a view of the original and second trestle routes across the ravine. It might. I decided to find some energy and do this now, so I'm on the what side am I on? North side. So looking down at, there is current track, and through there is where the pre-71 route went, and went across the gully on a trestle. And before that was another trestle, all the way going back to 1911. So let's walk a bit further up, see what kind of view there is to be had. There's the current line, and through there, right in the middle of the frame, is where it disappears behind another rock cut, one of the earlier 1920s rock cuts, and goes across on a trestle. Going through there, and then this will just go above the current rail line, and I was below that rock staring up a little while ago. Up here on my perch. So here's the main line, just disappears around the corner there on its way westward, but right about there is where it would have branched off and gone right through here, worked its way through there, and then went between those rocks, between that group of rocks and that rock face there is the gap, which is the rock cut done in the 1920s. This is fun. Okay, that was fun. I was just up there. And now, time to walk towards Arrowsmith. I like this rock cut that I'm in, closer to about mile 23.4 or so. That's looking back west. And the lovely sound of a creek flowing under the ENN. It's just after 3:30 p.m. I think it's going to be getting dark by 4. There's milepost 23. Glad to see that. I got less than a mile to go to my car, so I'll get there before it gets dark. I don't need to get out my headlamp. I'm pretty close to the highway, as you can hear, heading towards Loon Lake and Loon Lake main logging road, which was my access point for this hike. In the fading light, here's that rock slide. Again, when I was here in April, part of it was encroaching on, but it's been cleaned up. Thank you, fabulous people. Coming to the end of my hike, let me just let you see what I see. At the bottom of the screen now, you can see the white of Mount Arrowsmith. It gets lost when my camera focuses on the lighting down here. I'll show you what I mean about Mount Arrowsmith being kind of special at the moment up there. There we are. We'll keep it right there. And I'm back. Loon Lake Main Road. Really, it's a level crossing here. You can't see the rail marks, but trust me. And that's where I came from. What a fun day. Thank you for watching this.
Thank you very much for watching this video. There were other places along the way that I had hoped to stop at and do some photography at, but I was running out of daylight at the end of my hike, and so I'm saving those for another time.